Kirk trying to win it to Thielen, caught at the 5!
I got 3 words for you. You like that?
No! No!
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Skull Network. My name is Nick, and welcome back to the weekly NFL picks segment on the channel. This is going to mark week number 9, and before we start, I'm going to let you guys know the teams on bye for this week. Teams on bye this week are going to be the Rams, Eagles, Bengals, and the Browns. And let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into week 9 picks. Kicking off week 9, we have Thursday Night Football. It's going to be the Green Bay Packers versus the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers kind of pooped the bed a little bit last week, and the Green Bay Packers got upset by the Minnesota Vikings in the Dalvin Cook show, but I anticipate that the Green Bay Packers will bounce back this week. Jimmy G is once again injured, which means the 49ers are going to be reverting back to their backup quarterbacks, whether that's Nick Mullins or CJ Beathard, we don't know, but I anticipate that the Green Bay Packers will be able to bounce back from that loss against the Vikings, taking the Packers. Moving on to the new games, we're going to look at the 1-6 Texans versus the 1-6 Jaguars. This is going to be a mega toilet bowl, as you guys know. I love the toilet bowls. That is a lie. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be without Gardner Minshew, and the Texans, again, these teams are both 1-6. Neither are playing particularly well, but the Jaguars are going to be without their starting quarterback, who is kind of the cornerstone of that offense, if you could even call him a cornerstone. It's not going to be a very high-scoring game in my eyes, but I do think Deshaun Watson and the Texans can get it done against the Jaguars. Next, we're going to move over to the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. As we know, the Minnesota Vikings, and shall I say Dalvin Cook, actually took over the game last week, putting up 4 touchdowns and completely handling business against the Green Bay Packers, shocking basically the entire league. The only issue here with the Vikings is that we are currently down 3 more corners from last week. Mark Fields, Chris Boyd, and Cameron Dantzler more than likely are not going to be playing. We'll be down to guys like Jeff Gladney, friggin' Mertellus, and essentially guys that no one has ever heard of. And I think that Matthew Stafford and his receivers are going to be able to take good advantage of that. I expect this to be a pretty high-scoring affair. I assume since Dalvin Cook played so well last week that the Lions are going to be stacking the box a bit more, which hopefully should open the play-action pass game back up for Kirk Cousins, and hopefully he can start having success again like he did last year. And now that the Vikings are back in the win column, I'm going to ride that until they lose again. I'm picking the Vikings. Next, we're moving on to the Chiefs and the Panthers, and the Chiefs obviously took care of business like they should have last week. The Panthers shocked me a little bit. They actually got beat by Atlanta, which I did not expect, and I expect them to continue this losing streak because Kansas City is Kansas City. I'm picking Kansas City. How many times can Nick say Kansas City in a row? Nobody knows. Next, we're going to move on to the Seattle Seahawks and the Buffalo Bills. These two are both 6-win teams, but I definitely feel like the Bills are one of those like 3 or 4 win teams in disguise as a 6-win team. They've not been playing good teams lately, and they've been not playing very well against the bad teams they've been playing lately. I don't expect them to be able to handle Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks, especially DK Metcalf, who does not seem like he can have 2 bad games in a row ever, and I'm going to be taking the Seahawks. Now we're going to move on to a very close game in my eyes. It's going to be the Ravens and the Colts. Obviously, we know the Ravens' high-powered offense hasn't been doing as much as we expect lately, but the Colts still have that high-powered defense, and they put up 41 last week, which means the offense is starting to click a little bit as well, and that could be pretty scary. But I think the Ravens played a very great game against the Steelers last week. Obviously, it was a little closer than I think Steelers fans wanted it to be, but I do think that they're going to be able to bounce back even against one of the top defense in the leagues. Might be considered a bit of an upset, but I'm going to take the Ravens. Now we're moving on to the Atlanta Falcons and the Denver Broncos, and the Broncos took care of business against Justin Herbert and the Chargers last week, and the Falcons managed to pull up somewhat of an upset against the Panthers last week. And while the Falcons do have those pieces that I keep saying, Raheem Morris is starting to make those click a little bit, I just like where the Broncos are right now. I mean, obviously they're a 3-4 team. I don't think they like where they are right now, but as an outsider, I kind of like what I'm seeing from them the last couple weeks. It seems like their pieces are gelling together pretty well, even with pieces that are missing, and I just still don't like the Falcons. I mean, obviously, as I keep saying, they have the pieces, but I like the pieces of the Broncos just a little bit more. Maybe this is also an upset, but I'm taking the Broncos. Now we're going to move on to the Titans and the Bears, a couple of 5-win teams. The Titans do not look to be as good as people thought they were when they started off those first few games undefeated, and it looks like the Bears might need to revert back to Mitchell Trubisky, which is something you never want to hear. And this is just a battle of teams that are like in a weird spot right now and don't know what their identity is. But as a Vikings fan, I will stop choosing teams in the division because I have like morals, so I'm going to take the Titans. Now we're going to move on to another toilet bowl this week. It's going to be the New York Giants and the Washington football team. As we know, this matchup happened a few weeks ago, and I think that Washington is going to be coming out on top here. The Giants are just, I think they're trying to fight for that number 1 pick against the Jets, both of these New York teams, and I just think Washington is the better team right now. Moving over to the Raiders and the Chargers, if you look at these two teams on paper, it's an incredibly even matchup, but I still like Justin Herbert. Him and Joe Burrow are fighting it out right now for Rookie of the Year. I think Justin Jefferson is starting to fall off that race unless he comes back up with a few more big games, but Justin Herbert, like I keep saying, gonna be great in this league, and Derek Carr and the Raiders, they have been playing like kind of up and down at this point of the season. I mean, they're 3-4. Doesn't seem like they're going to be going anywhere as far as playoff wise, but you never know, obviously, with the way the league is right now. I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. All right, this one's going to be easy. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are still without any sort of competent QB. The Steelers, while they may be a little lucky to be undefeated still, will be 8-0 after this upcoming week. I'm taking the Steelers. Now we're going to move on to the Dolphins and the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals with that high-powered offense, and the Dolphins with Tua Tagovailoa. He did get his win in his first game as an NFL starter, which is good for him, but let's face it, that was mainly not on him. He didn't put up incredible numbers, and obviously he had help from his defense and his special teams and the run game as well. And I don't know if Tua is quite ready to handle a shootout with a guy like Kyler Murray, who can put up big numbers at any point in time and compete with guys like Russell Wilson, who we just recently beat. So I'm going to take the Cardinals here. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, this is going to be a great game, a battle of the NFC West teams. This is the Saints and the Buccaneers. This one is extremely interesting to me. As I'm recording this right now, Monday Night Football has not even started, so I can't give you a gauge on what Tom Brady has done at this point. Obviously, when you're watching this, you will know. And the Saints took care of business, taking out the Chicago Bears in overtime last week. As you saw, the game was a little closer than I wanted it to be, considering the stipulations of that game and like how the quarterback situation is in Chicago, but I digress on that. This one I think could be really close, even with Drew Brees not playing as good as he has in years past. Tom Brady is just on another level right now, and the weapons that he's going to have, I believe Antonio Brown's going to be playing at that point. You never know what could happen. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. And we're going to end off the week with Monday Night Football. This may be one of the worst Monday Night Football games of the year. This is going to be the 2-5 Patriots versus the 0-8 Jets. Who would have thought that you would hear those records being put against each other in this sort of matchup at this point of the season, at the beginning of the season? The Patriots, their dynasty, as we've said and as we can tell, it's over. It doesn't even seem like Cam Newton is the answer. They're clearly falling right now. I believe they have a top 10 pick in the NFL draft as it stands. I think they're below the Vikings, which that's pretty impressive, New England. Good on you. As we know, the Jets currently in line for that number 1 pick. But you know what? I may be making a bad choice right here and jeopardizing a game for my record, but I just feel like the Patriots are just in such shambles right now. I understand the Jets are literally the worst team in the league, but I think this could be one of their shots to get their first win. New England has just been not doing anything right as of late. Neither have the Jets, but I'm going to go and make probably an awful decision. I'm going to pick the Jets. Yeah, I said it. I think the Jets get their first win. Now, it might be the only one, but I think they get it this week. And that is going to end off Week 9 picks. If you guys think any of these picks are great, if you think they're awful, go down in the comments below and let me know. I love talking football with every single one of you. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the button down below to subscribe. And if you like the video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to share the video, go ahead. No one's going to stop you. Share it with the crack dealer on the corner. You guys already know that is your best option. My name is Nick. This has been Skull Network, and I will see you guys in the recap between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions coming out on Monday. Adios.